So just wrapping or trying to segue our topic of modern loneliness to long distance relationships. One thing that I just wanted to point out before we get more relationship be talky or something like that. It's when it comes to friends, like even if you take in consideration the friend group that we have, how established it is and how like tight knit. Sometimes I wonder with regards to and like maybe this is bad. Like sometimes I think about it because of how we all grow up and we're not always stuck together because of either school circumstances or life circumstances. Like sometimes I wonder if we will all still be like able to become friends if we met at this time, And Cassandra, you can, yeah, like
I don't
you should take
know.
it. Yeah. Like I don't know, like it's tough. It's tough.
Maybe, but like we grew up together. Like we grew, and like when I say grew up, I mean like we literally grew as people together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting because that can be said about anything at all. Like it's circumstantial because those relationships that you have are are kind of sown through time and space, and like if we had, let's say, a class together and we were sitting beside each other, or we had a project to do together, that's an experience that we have in our bag that no one else has, and that adds on to like our friendship. And so maybe we take that off, and then it doesn't have the same impact on why we're able to still be friends.
For sure. And yeah, let's moving from just like it's funny how we talk about long distance relationships, and you can see it in the lens of friendships that are like spaced out, right? And even like our group in general, just like if we would be friends or would be able to become good friends at this time as the people we've grown through, it's an interesting thing to look into. But that's just like long distance relationships can be seen in that sense, right? Where not even in like just physical distance, but just like time and space. But what we're gonna talk like about long distance relationships, we're getting a little bit deeper. And Cassandra, you're gonna be put on the spot, and you're gonna just tell me and Bleska, like, give me your experience about it, like long distance relationships. Like, do they work? How do you feel about them? Yeah, and if you got any like tips or tricks to make it work, if it has worked for you. So
Jordan and I were long distance for like 5 years, starting in second year university. I was living in London and he was going to school in Waterloo. That was fun because it was so easy to drive up on weekends every time he was living in Waterloo. So it didn't really feel like we were long distance that much, just that we were seeing each other when we could, as if we were in high school again. The times that kind of sucked were when he was in Boston for 4 months and California for 8 months. We honestly didn't have like a year where we lived in the same place until 2 years ago, I think. Boston was really hard. Jordan hated his job, and I had just started nursing school. So it was a little rough, but obviously we got through it, and they clearly worked because we're still together and married now. California was really rough because it was 8 months apart, and that was the longest we've ever been apart. I got to go up and visit him, and we went to Las Vegas and LA and did a lot of fun things. The one thing I will for sure say about long distance relationships are that you need to put a ton of effort in, and no one's going to understand what it's like unless they've been in a long distance relationship before. So sometimes looking for friends' reassurance and stuff is really tough because they really don't understand your situation and what it's like. No, fighting is a way sometimes of communication, and it's okay to argue and disagree and feel super frustrated, especially when you're apart. It's really hard to communicate through text and FaceTime, and like you don't always know how the other person's feeling or thinking. It's really easy to hide those feelings a lot of the time, but try to have an open mind and an open line of communication, and hopefully it works out for you guys. Or anyone who wants to try.
I like what you said about the texting is really difficult. Like I even find that just with anybody I'm talking to, it's like if I'm texting, we're going back and forth about something, I'm like, no, like I can't do this. I'm gonna call you right now. Let's just like get these words that we're trying to like get through messages, so I can understand the tone of your voice, so I can understand like the emotion of you're putting into words, the emphasis, like because those are like cues that are important, and you can't always get that. Well, you never really get that from texting, especially sometimes emojis are just sarcastic too, you know. Like you might just read things completely like not the way, whether it's like getting your hopes up or getting your hopes down, like it's just detrimental. So you're building a foundation in a relationship, so and now instead of like building this house from like, you know, brick by brick, you're like throwing bricks from like two separate cities. So it definitely takes well, yeah, you're just trying to like shoot the bricks onto like to build the house. I'm trying to, you know, work on my metaphor here, Alan, or Abby.
Kobe.
Before like Netflix had friend sharing, you know how you can like share, watch a movie with a friend now? Jordan and I think Netflix does that. Some app does it. But Jordan and I used to just like log on to Skype and then screen share and watch a movie together. This is when Skype was used by many people. And then we would play like Monopoly online together, or there's this game, Balloon Pop or something. We would play that. It's like we tried to find fun things that we could do together when we were apart. So it wasn't just like getting frustrated with each other. Like we needed some fun.
If you can like sit down and pick one show, like 1 hour per week or whatever, that you're like, I'm not gonna watch this unless I'm with her or I'm with him. It's like you gotta. That's like a really positive way to flip make things, add something you're looking forward to like weekly, especially if it's a good show. So, what shows were you guys watching?
Oh yeah, I think we were watching Suits for like the longest time. That was probably what we were doing. California, because there was like a 3-hour difference. He was 3 hours behind me. We didn't do a lot of that, like watching shows, because I would basically be falling asleep on our FaceTime calls, because I had just finished like a 12-hour work shift and wanted to like talk to him so bad, and had to do another 12-hour the next day. So there's a lot of
I hope you got.
That was really.
I hope you got the screenshots.
It's okay now. Oh, I think I have
no.
screenshots of us playing.
Of you sleeping.
No.
Of you sleeping.
Oh, of me sleeping. I hope not. I don't even know.
Well, we can get that. We can get that sensitive info. But what I wanted,
good luck,
dude. Let's like what I wanted to say about this, and as a student of the game, who's only got the theory behind this, I feel I feel like two big points that I would probably point out. Number one, it obviously depends on the people and the effort that they put in. So if one person is trying their best to, and this alludes to the second point, bridging the gap. Yeah. So if the first person is trying their best to bridge that gap, obviously Cassandra, you're making that effort. You know, like you're trying to find ways to, even something super small, like trying to play like that, like bubble popping game, you know, or we're watching a show together, right? Like you're showing that you're putting the effort in, and obviously Jordan is reciprocating that effort, and that's how you make it work. Because like if someone, if you're point A and the other person's point B, and you're trying to send, like if you're playing the game telephone, right, and you're saying something on one side, but the other side is not responding or slowly like losing interest, like this is not something that will work. Because I feel like as the student of the game, you know, long distance relationships are they strain that relationship, right? And that's why you don't really hear if it works out at the end for most of them. But
when he went to Boston, he wrote me a pink notebook that had something to read every single day.
Oh wow!
Written by him. So it was like,
give an example.
Like,
give an example.
I think the book's back in London in my memory box, but it's like, oh, remember this memory or this memory that we had, or like, you look really beautiful today, and they'd just be like handwritten notes from him. And I was only allowed to read one a day. That was really fun. he had to dress like business casual for one job. So every day he'd send me his like outfit of the day.
Okay.
So I have like a bunch of mirror selfies from Jordan with his like fancy outfits. That was fun. I think I gave him a jar of Kisses, like, you know, like the chocolate. And he got to have one a day until we saw each other again.
That's good.
Ooh, you're testing him. Testing, like, I like how both of you guys are testing each other.
Self-control.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Like, did you actually, let's be honest, for the listeners, Cassandra, did you read ahead? Did you spoil yourself?
Sometimes I needed the extra page.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I don't think I read the whole thing. I'm sure Jordan ate a bunch of those chocolates.
Oh man, when we get him on, we're gonna ask. But yeah.
You should.
So.
But yeah, no, it was a long 5 years, and I'm more than happy now that we are no longer long distance, because I really don't want to do that again. But it's definitely doable. And don't be alarmed if you argue and fight. It's not the end of your relationship.
Bosco, what do you think? Bridging the gap, people putting in the effort.
It takes a lot of heart to get to where this model couple is right now, together, married, and just going through it like together. It's like that's really what it's about.
Yo, Bosco, we're gonna make great uncles one day.
Oh, Alan, you went there.
Throw that out there. But yeah. Bosco.
Do you hear that?
What was that?